Welcome to episode 11. Yeah, we're here. We're at episode 11. We've got a process terrain and a process entity. And yeah, I've given it a bit of thought. It could be called register terrain and register entity. Or prepare terrain and prepare entity. Could be called a few things. Process. Yeah, that'll do. Right, let's get on with it because I want to get all this through so we can get onto the window, or at least get closer to it anyway. So what do we need today? Notes. Yeah, I've got some notes here. And the notes say that process terrain is straightforward. All we need to do is add the terrain to a standard vector. Oh, right, okay, I can do that. So it's m underscore terrains. There we go. And on vectors we push back. So push back, and it'll just be the address of whatever we put in. What did we put in? Terrain. Oh, that's easy enough. And that's that one done. Excellent. There you go. Good start. Done one. Now, that's how easy vectors are. That's nice. I like that. But we've got to do exactly that line now for a map. So, the first thing a map will need is a way to search through the map to make sure that you're not adding something that already exists. Yeah. So let's start at the beginning and give ourselves an iterator. All maps come with an iterator. So we are going to need a standard map. We then have to tell it map, thank you. We then have to tell it the type of map. So it's models. And we are going to go for the model that is textured. As my habits carry on, do that. That's going to reference the vector. Yeah, so standard std vector. Not reference the vector, but add the vector, which is also inside angled brackets. Just having a quick scratch, excuse me. There we go, had a quick scratch, there you go. On film. That's dangerous, isn't it? Entities. And it's just going to be entity, isn't it? That's what we're doing here. Yeah, that's a star. Close, and then we want our iterator. Colon, it looks awful. There's our iterator. You can have different types. I'm just going to call it batch, because it's a batch renderer. There we go. So, we now have an iterator. What do we do with it? We need... Let's see. I'm going to need the model, aren't I? Yeah, I am. I'm going to need the model as well. So that will be models, textured model, and I'll just call it model because I can. And that will be entity. That's what we passed in, isn't it? Yeah. Dot. And I just want the model, please. So can I get that? Thank you, because it's a model that we're storing. What we're doing to this is we are adding the entity model into our list. Not sure how I'm going to do this. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put in batch, which is our iterator, equals entities, which is what we've got as our map, and it's a pointer to find that model, please. Yeah. Right, so we're finding the model within the map. That can have a couple of results. First of all, it might not be able to find it. So we'll test a simple one first, which is if batch is not equal to m entities end, in other words, if it's not found, that's what will happen. It will equal entity, well, entities will equal, the iterator will equal end, or the end marker for the map. So if it doesn't, that means we found it. And if we found it, what does that mean? I don't need to do that. Just put space, it's easier. Batch, second it'll be. Second part, which, as you might know, maps are in two parts. The first part is the Dubry, the model texture. The second part is the entity itself, so the second. Second does what? Yeah, we push back, don't we? Just as we would do. P-U-S-H. So we just add whatever we're passed in to the end of the model that is already found, well, the one that we've found. Pushback. So we just add it after. Obvious, really, when you think about it. So it's pushback and it's an entity. Did I put my hands in? Yeah, did that. Entity, there we go. And that's it. That's all we need to do for that line. Please find a second. And you're not going to find that. Looking good, yeah. Now, what happens if it doesn't find it? We'll have to add it as a new item. So, if... oh. Don't need to do that, do I? It's an if statement. I can just put in else. And now I think I will have brackets. Yeah. Tab. No, don't tab. Just brackets will do. The standard vector has to be looked at, which is entities. Colon entity, and that's the star. We are going to do a new batch. Std vector entities entity new batch. So that's just setting up a variable. That's just like saying int I equals 0. So there's new batch. We've made a new batch. New batch. We'll add to it. We'll set it to a value. So again, it's just pushback. And of course, that is going to be our and entity. It's obvious, really, what we're doing. So we make a new batch, we add our entity, and then we have to insert it. Yeah, so M entities, we have to insert it into here. So it's going to be insert, that's for definite. That is a Dubry, a function, and it's going to be a pair. Maps work in pairs. So it's going to be an std pair. Again, it's a pair because we have our first part, comma, second part. So there's a pair of them. We are inserting in a pair. So the first part of that will be just a textured model, isn't it? Yeah. That's right. So it's models. No. Not its models. It's our model that's been textured. That one. Then we'll comma, because it's a comma. Insert. Have I forgotten to do something here? No, I haven't. It just looks weird the way I'm typing it. I've never seen this line like this before, so always one past. Yeah. And it's a standard vector. This is why I always keep these on separate lines so I know where I'm up to in the maps. Standard vector. Oh, Muppet, hello. And you're an entity. Entities. And you're just the entity, aren't you? Yep. You're the star. Close, close. And then we need the pair. How does this look? Doesn't matter about the space. So it's going to be entity model, which we've called model. Yeah, it's just model. Which we have gotten out of. There, we've got the model, yeah. And then it's just after that, it'll just be new batch. Yeah, that's it, lovely. And that's how you insert into a map. Tink. Make sure I've got that right now. Yep, I've got it right. God damn, made it look easy. That's a shame. It's just tricky because we're working with a pair and not just a single item. Working with a single item, it's just a straightforward pushback. Working with a pair, you first need the first part of the pair, which is the textured model, which is that one. Sorry, the model textured, which is that one. And then you just have to see if we can find it. And if we can't, we'll just push back the entity. Sorry, if we can, we just push back the second part, which is the entity, onto the end of wherever it's found them. Otherwise, it can't find them, and that means we need to insert a new one. So it's a new batch. We create a new batch. We push the entity back onto that new batch, and then we insert that new batch as second part of the pair with the model, which is what we were trying to find. Makes total sense. Close, 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 close. That's why I have the lines. Done. I can't compile it because it has errors. But that's not going to stop us putting it here. Here we go. Let's add this in to amber sl.pro, our pro file. Cleverly named. Muppet, please get off my hand. Thank you. This is our master render at long last. Oh, it's so much fun. So I'll take that line. Just pop that down here for the header. That's quite a few files we've done. not as many as it could have been, I guess. I could have done a lot more. But there are things that I'm still wondering about. I noticed when we're doing drawTerrain.cpp and drawEntity.cpp, the MVP for both of them is the same. It's the same calculations. So we could actually put that into the master renderer and have an MVP passed through from here at the very, very beginning, rather than working it out as an individual basis. That could save a lot of time, and in theory it works. In practice it doesn't. I know, because I did it. It didn't work. So I'm not doing it. There we go. It was an interesting experiment, and I know it should work, because what you're doing is you're just placing values into the shader. But on the second run of the shader, it lost all my values, and it shouldn't, but it did, and that was the point. Oh well, so we do it for each instead of for the whole lot. There we go. Interesting. Very, very interesting little bit of programming that I did in the background, which you'll never see. Master renderer, we're done. Goodbye. Now, let's see what we need next. Somewhere I have an office. Here we go. Let's start this up. Here we are, programming 3D. Let's have a quick look. See what information we've got on here. So, draw entity, draw terrain, shader control, shader entity, shaders, terrain, yeah, shader control. Yeah, we've got a shader foundation. Load shader, yeah. Create shader, there we go. Yeah, we're okay, we're okay, we're covered. We're covered, so I've got that. Just making sure I've got all the bits. Because as you notice, there's only window 3D left to do. Which is going to be next episode. Wow. Because once that's done, we go all the way back to the beginning, go through it all again. Putting in all the extra code. Wow. Window 3D. That's probably going to be a double episode, because it's not as simple as it would first seem to be. It is, you just open a window on the screen. But it's all the rest of the stuff that I want to put into it, so that we have access to other things as well, like the operating system beneath the program. So I want operating system calls in there. Anything else I need to do there? Not particularly. I think we'll keep this a nice short one. Hopefully that was as clear as mud. And you're okay now with all the rendering. It is a bit complicated, I must admit, working with maps, but if you go to c++.com and have a look at the maps under the standard libraries, you'll see that this is, I think it actually gives this as one of the examples, or something similar to this as one of the examples anyway. So it's nothing new, it's just looks a bit messier than that single line. I did think about using a vector here, and then thought, never gonna work, never gonna work. We need to fix it so that we can have multiple models at the same time. So there we go, that's all sorted. Master renderer done. So next episode I'm going to do a window 3D. So we're going back to the OpenGL. Shader, terrain, shader, yeah. OpenGL window 3D. Lovely. Let's do that. And in the meantime, take care, and above all, Have fun.